Hello there, Cohort 2 for Spring 2024. Coming to you from your, internet desk. This is Jacob, one of your facilitators for the program. I am coming to you, as I will almost weekly this cohort, to give you what we call our Tuesday tune-in. We think, and a lot of the literature out there in the field talks about how being connected with your students is important, right? And one way you can do that is with kind of a weekly touch base or a weekly announcement, a weekly communication with your students. Obviously, you want to communicate with them more, but weekly is this way I can kind of touch base with my students in a personal way via this video, if you will, right? Where I can talk to them about what's happened during the week previous, where they're going the next week, and even walk them through any questions we might have come across in class, as I would in any face-to-face class, where I could show them exactly what I was talking about. So this gives me that avenue. For this kind of a tool, I could leverage something like Kaltura Capture, or any other tool that will allow me to get my screen as well as my my visage, my webcam. In particular today, I'm just using a fun tool called OBS, Open Broadcast Studio. It's a free tool on the internet. It's a little more complicated, but I love it because you can set up scenes like this one. And I am using a green screen today, so you don't see kind of my background behind me here in this particular photo. But that being said, welcome to Tuesday Tune In. I hope you're well. I'm really excited about you guys going through the program this time. Today, I want to talk to you about a couple of things for our first one. We're going to talk about the orientation recordings, which are available. We're going to talk about due dates that are coming up and remind you what our rhythm and cadence is. And then we're going to talk about a feature that you might be seeing for the first time as a student in Blackboard courses, and that is progress tracking. And that's going to be our tip. Each week I try to throw in some stuff about the course, but at the end, I want to give you an ultra tip, for instance. So in this case, this week's tip has to do with progress tracking. So I want to start with our orientation recordings. When you go to the course, remember, you're in the right course, the course where you're a student, because you'll see the big orange tinted background, the banner right here, right? So here I am in this particular thing. So I'm going to scroll down to where it says course information. Now, I'm going to click on course information, scroll all the way down, and you're going to see something here now called orientation webinar recordings. So when I click on that, it's going to open up for me, and you will see our first recording. Ta-da! It's about 33 minutes. The actual slide deck that works with both recordings, and our second recording. So you'll be able to watch either of those orientations and interact with any of but learn about the questions that were asked at each one of them, right? There weren't many, but they might be a question that you might wanted to ask. So both of our orientations are here. So if you missed either of them yesterday, they're available for you to peruse at your leisure. So just so you know. Now, let's talk about due dates and how that works. So in our orientation session, we actually spoke of when due dates fall, and the rhythm and cadence of due dates in our course are Sundays, Thursdays, and Sundays. So what does that mean? That means this Thursday, the Start Here activities are due. Pretty easy stuff. If you looked at Start Here already, you know it's not much. And on Sunday, Module 1 activities are due. Again, not a heavy lift. What I will say, and I said this in the orientation webinars, is in each one of our modules, starting with Start Here, we have a knowledge check. When you answer the question in that knowledge check, it automatically opens up the next module for you to go to. And that module will appear on top. The most recent module will always appear on top. So our Start Here stuff is due on Thursday evening, and our Module 1 stuff is due on Sunday evening. And that cadence is going to rotate through the 5 weeks, except for spring break week. Remember, we have nothing going on spring break. We want to give you that time. You can still work in the course, but again, some of us are traveling. Some of us are just trying to disconnect from everything school-oriented. But we wanted to let you know that you can work through it should you want to. All right. Now to get to the tip. And it's important that I'm sitting here in the student preview mode of this course because I'm looking at it as you would as a regular student in the course, right? all the students now have these little circles that show up next to content. And you might be wondering, well, what does that mean? That means that it's kind of like a checklist for your students. It's called progress tracking, where they can keep track of content that they've looked at. Now, there are two ways for this checklist to work. One is it's going to be heavily involved with the student, making sure to not only click the first time, but click a second time to say I've done it. And another time, if I leverage like forced sequential viewing of a learning module, it's going to happen automatically. So I want you to look. Here inside this folder, I have already looked at the orientation webinar recordings. So let's say, for instance, that I know that I've looked at them. I'm going to mark them off my list. I'm very familiar with them. I'm going to click my check, right? Ta-da! There. So that should tell you if someone's actually looked at something and whether they mark it as complete, that they completed looking at it. Same thing with anything that I click in this particular folder. So if I click on Program Syllabus, I can then say, okay, yeah, I've seen the syllabus, I've read through it, and come back and click it. I'll do the same thing for the 24/7 support desk link, which gives information on how to contact the support desk and all that good stuff right here at the bottom. And I'm going to close it and click it. And this is a link out to a web page for instructional designers at Sam Houston State University and how you might reach out and touch them. In this case, course support involves you reaching out to the ID support email right here at the top, which we'll talk about in the last module. You actually will be connecting to your instructional designer to set up a meeting, and that will enable them to go ahead and award you points for an activity. So I open that, you'll notice that it shows up as a halfway clicked. I click it again. And lastly is this virtual office discussion forum, right? This is where people can post questions about the course. There aren't any here currently, but as a student, I can mark that once I've done something, I can mark that I've completed, so that I've looked at all this. Now you'll notice that where I close this folder, as a student, I know via that check mark that I have looked at everything in this folder. I'm familiar with it, it's done. I've done my own kind of to-done list, if you will, right? So that's pretty neat. That's where the first, once a student clicks on it, you'll know that they've at least looked at it. They can click it a second time to mark it complete. So what I would do, much like I'm doing with you here, if you leverage folders or learning modules where you don't force them to go in sequential order, I would walk them through how progress tracking works so that they can see how they can use it for their own benefit. Later on, we'll show you, how you can also use that to keep track of that stuff, right? Pretty cool, huh? All right, so what I'm going to do now is go on to that first module. So all the modules in this course, all of the learning modules in this course, and in Ultra, learning modules are the paginated view of content as you go through your course in a linear fashion, right? And in this particular one, we've chunked them into these modules. We forced our learning modules to be sequential viewing. When you create your module, there'll be a checkbox that says force sequential viewing, and you'll say yes. If you do that, you don't have to ask your students to come back and check something is complete. It's going to do it for them. Watch. So I'm going to click here on Start Here. I could have just clicked on Start, and it would have taken me to this, by the way. But as I scroll through here, you'll see that this first one has an open one, and the next three are locked because I have to sequentially move through them. So I could, for instance, click on Start. It will take me to this particular document. And as I scroll through it, let's say I interact and read and watch everything that I need to interact, read, and watch, I can click on the next thing. And it will take me to the pre-assessment activity. Now, I want you to see something. In the background here, it tells me that 1 of 4 of the things in this module I've already done. It's letting me know that, right? So I click here and see, oh wow, there's a check mark here. That lets me know that I have already looked at this, I've already done it. Way to go, Jacob. Now, for each one of the assignments that I turn in, I've already looked at the assignment once, but if I wanted to attempt it and submit it, I would go to Start Attempt, and I would go and do what I need to do in this particular activity, which is me submitting a pre-assessment for the course as part of your Start Here activities. So I'd click this link, submit the survey, and then I would come back to this assignment, and I would type in pre-assessment submitted down here at the bottom, right? And then I will submit it. When I'm done, it's going to automatically tell me that I completed that other activity in this course. So you see now in the background here, it says 2 of 4 completed. And were I to close this bad boy, I can see here that 2 of 4 have completed, right? So let me give you some for instance that what I really like about this. So as I hit exit here, I'm going to exit out of this mode, and I'm going to discard or save. At this point, I'm going to save it because I'm going to look at some of this data. But I want you to see that I can actually go down to my course information folder here as the instructor, click on my 3 dots just here to the right, and do student progress. And that will let me know who's looked at the folder, who's completed looking at the folder, right? Who's actually looked at anything in here. So for instance, I know that some people have actually started looking at it. So I can actually look at the folks in the course and see when they looked at it. Now, in particular, I can type in my name, and you'll see that Jacob marked it complete. So Jacob has actually looked at this folder. So it's a way for me to know that A, someone started it or opened it, and then whoever's completed it. Now, I can go a step further here. So I can actually open up the entire folder and click on syllabus and see, okay, it's student progress. Who's looked at the syllabus? Again, I can look in here and see out of all my students, I can filter it by who's opened it and started it and who's finished it. So kind of gives me an idea when I start to see questions from students in the course, okay, let's see who's actually read the syllabus. And then I can let them know, hey, it looks like you haven't looked at the syllabus yet. This is going to be helpful for you in understanding this part of the course, so on and so forth. I can also get to this data via my analytics tab at the top of my screen here for progress tracking. I can also get it in the holistic overview of a student. So for instance, I could go to my gradebook. I'm not going to do it in this course, but I'll do it in another one so you can kind of see what's going on. So I'm going to go to another course that we have, healthy eating. And I could go to my gradebook. And I'm going to go here and click on students. And I'm going to find a student in this course, right? So let's go with Parker Jones, for instance, or yeah, Parker Jones will work. So I'll click on Parker Jones, and it's going to open up all of Parker's graded stuff. But here under grades, you're going to also see that I have a progress tab. So I can access their entire progress through my course in one holistically oriented place just by clicking progress. Now, these are all fake students, so they haven't really been here in a while, but you can see here that I can tell that Parker Jones has looked at these guys here, and I can open them up in specific to figure out, oh, he's even completed these activities, right? So again, a powerful tool for you and your students that I think will be beneficial as you think about moving forward in Ultra. I hope you have a great rest of your week. If you have any questions, make sure to pop them into our virtual office discussion forum. We'll be checking that each business day and replying to it within 24 hours of a business day. So make sure you can post those questions in there. Other than that, we wish you a wonderful week and to stay as relaxed as you can in the midst of a stressful semester. Thanks a lot.